there are people sleeping on the streets too, you know. There's traffic, there are potholes, there's garbage. What the outside world, these first world countries have on us is that transportation. You see, transportation, you could walk out at any hour of the day or night and jump in public transportation and get where you're going safely. And you don't feel unsafe walking the road. You don't feel unsafe.
And that's
That's
a
what,
big difference, Wendell. That's a big
a big,
difference.
it's a big
Massive.
difference, you're right. It
And
is
if
a
and
big
if and
difference.
if someone murders, you have a 90-something% chance of there's a crime of them getting caught by police and put through the system effectively and efficiently. And
That's
those
correct.
are big differences.
It is, it is, it is.
And in many cases, not all, because they have
Mm-hmm.
social infrastructural challenges too. They have hospital
Mm-hmm.
challenges. They have
Yeah,
education challenges. But you actually sometimes see progress being made. And if people are not doing the job, they're held accountable.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
All right,
yeah.
gentlemen.
And
Let's get
people
the
generally
results of
mind their
our morning
business.
poll. I do have some extra results coming in here. Wayne out in Simcoe, Ontario, Canada, says yes. Andre, yes, it did. Price is rising. We jamming still. Ms. Maloney also says yes. Let me just check to see if anything is coming up here. Ms. Maloney being my last one, and that's it. That's the end of our poll. Let's get the results. I'll get my guest online.
All right, so our poll this morning was, do you think that the protest action called by the opposition flopped? We had 22 people voting on the poll this morning, according to my calculations. I thought I maybe missed one, but I'm not sure. But according to my calculations, it's 22. 21 of you said yes, it was a complete flop. One person said no, it was not. So 21 people said yes, one person said no. Of course, you can continue to vote on this poll throughout the day and throughout all programming, and we give you the final result tomorrow morning, which will be Thursday, the beginning of the weekend, because you know we live for a weekend here on this morning show.
We
And
love
of
a
course,
weekend. Let's leave
it's
it
already
long.
midweek, and I'm so looking forward to the weekend. You would think, why it's coming from such
Recording
a
in
long
progress.
weekend, but
All
I
right.
feel as if I've worked a week already.
No kidding. All right, gentlemen. We do have our guest online. We have Mr. Linus Phillip. So good morning to you, Linus, President of the Route 2 Maxi Taxi Association. How are you?
I'm okay, you know.
Linus, you're sounding tired, boy. Like you're still counting that cash
Yeah,
from
I
yesterday.
counted up that money from all them students out yesterday.
Wish, I guess we were just out doing our duty.
So you didn't take the Route 2 Maxis didn't take part in the protest action against the fuel price hike then?
No, we did not.
Why?
First of all, we were invited to a meeting last week, Monday.
Invited by whom, though?
We were invited by the PDP, I guess, to a meeting. They wanted to meet, and we went.
PDP, you said?
Myself and Mr. Hewitt, we went and we met. We saw it at taxi drivers and truckers and all these guys are there. And they indicated that they wanted to form this new association with truckers and all the transport people, wreckers, haulers.
Teamsters out.
They outlined what they wanted to do, and the association, we told them on Monday that we are not in objection in forming an association like that to lobby government and things for certain things. That we told them that we're not objecting to that. What we totally objecting to and would not be a part of is any organization that is formed like that under a political party.
Okay, makes sense.
We told them we're not going to be a part of any organization like that that is formed under any political party. Once the political party are involved, we're not taking part in it.
So you did not join.
That was our position from since Monday last
So
week.
you did not join the association.
Well, as a
No,
result,
we did
because
not.
a political party was involved.
Right, and we did not. And our constitution clearly tells us non-religious, non-political.
Yeah.
So was
Fair
an
enough.
association actually formed, Linus?
Well, I don't know, and as I said, we didn't join.
Okay,
So
okay.
they came out
All
and
right.
said the association was formed, so I'll go by what I hear.
Why did you decide not to join the protest action yesterday?
Well, this whole fuel subsidy, in our view, is more than about it. Since under the last government, people saying the fuel subsidy has to go, and the government over the years have been taking it out piece by piece, right? All of us in the country know it has to go, and even the economists and they saying the fuel subsidy will have to go. Some saying it's the wrong time, but in my view, there is never a right time to take money from people, right?
Mm.
Because every time you try to do it, somebody's going to say it's the wrong time because of this, the wrong time because of that. I mean, we have to be realistic, right? We had an increase in our fare in October last year to absorb some of the costs that the same businessmen who took in place on us during the pandemic, right? And all these things, the rise in price and things, we did an adjustment. I think Route 1 did an adjustment in February, right? And what we did, we look at what it's going to cost us with 50 cents on the dollar. I mean, on a liter. So we look at what it was going to cost us. And it was costing a big Maxi taxi about between $30 and $35 a day more. The small Maxis are around $20. So we believe with the increase that we had, we could have easily absorbed it. So we did.
Yeah. But you're also back. Yeah. Linus, you're also back to 100% capacity now, right? Because I think when you had increased the fares back in October, you were at either 50 or 75%. Wasn't that so? Is
75%, 75%, but that wasn't the reason for the increase, right?
Mm-hmm.
We never said our increase was because of that. Because we run nearly 2 years at the 50 and 75% and never increased the fare. If we were increasing because of that, we'd have increased it way before.
All right, I accept that. But you're up to 100% capacity now, okay?
We up to 100% capacity, but the work it's not back to where it was before because we have a lot of things that affect our job, right? You wouldn't believe a simple thing like parking in Port of Spain does drop our capacity. Right?
Yeah.
What did your membership tell you about the commuters yesterday with school children heading back out? At least half of the school children headed back out yesterday. And I guess some parents too, because they didn't have to stay to supervise the children. What was the response like in terms of your membership and the traveling public?
Well, so far, we had all positive. The guys said they saw a little more an increase in transportation yesterday, right? Because they had a lot of children traveling, and the first timers, what you have is parents going with them. So that kind of increased the transportation a bit. Because they find the younger ones, the parents will go and drop them, go back and pick them up.
Yeah.
So, I mean to say, all these are things we look at. We have been saying, right, we have members by us, some of them find we should have joined the protest. And the fuel price and this and whatever. Everybody have a different view, right? But as an association, we have to sit down and look at our industry. And that is what we do. And it's not about no one or two individuals. It's about keeping the industry afloat.
Linus, you mentioned a little while ago that things weren't completely back to normal in terms of what it was prior to the pandemic. What do you think is accounting for this? Is it simply schools, or is it something more complex than that?
No, not schools alone. I think we had a reduction in the workforce because we have a lot of business that closed down over the pandemic.
Yeah.
Right? Those and open market and you're talking about those are people who working class, people who travel. As I said, Port of Spain, when wreckers working in Port of Spain and wrecking people for illegally parking, we just have a lot more commuters in the sense that people travel instead of driving because they know where to park. Right now, the whole of Port of Spain is a parking lot. You park up anyway.
Linus, are you hinting that you're in favor of wrecking return?
No. I'm in favor of upholding what the law is. Right now, if you go to Port of Spain, the law says no parking and people park.
Linus, I don't know if you know. I don't know if you want to go
I'm
down that
confused,
road.
you know, Linus.
Huh?
I say I'm confused. Why is parking in town affecting route to Maxi's? Are you talking about parking at Citygate?
I am saying, you asked me what affect the transportation. I'm explaining to you what explaining, because here what is going on. Right? I have a car. I walk in Port of Spain. I have nowhere to park. So I take a Maxi. Because if I illegally park, it's going to cost me $500. Right? So the record stop work. Yeah, I could park on the inside of the road in Port of Spain, so I drive. And in driving, I call Steve and I call Wendell and say, hey, I'm going down with the car today, so I go pass and pick all you up. Instead of paying $10, everybody will give me the $10 and we'll put fuel in the car.
So you're saying the driving population, people who are driving in private vehicles, who opt to drive because, quote unquote, according to you, they can park anywhere, has significantly impacted your revenues. That is a stretch, though.
Well, yes, I mean to say we outside here on the ground and we seen it. And if you talk to people,
but that suggests that that a significant portion of the driving population who are working in Port of Spain are parking illegally, and I don't know that you have the evidence to support that.
Yeah.
Well, I drive through Port of Spain right now. I'm going through Port of Spain now.
Yeah, but how do you know what percentage of the people who drive and work in Port of Spain are parking illegally?
I cannot give you a percentage. I told you I am telling you what I am seeing and what we observe with our transportation. I said it bumps up our transportation. Understand what I said? We have the people who travel every day. And what I said, what this does is bump up the amount of people we carry. I didn't say it's directly is the majority of people that we travel with. You talk about all the little factors that help bump up our transportation. A little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there. That is what bumps it up, and that is what carries it down.
Yeah. Well, I could guess. I mean, I could logically postulate that the traveling public with private cars might have reduced, even if they used to take taxis prior. Simply that they may still be concerned about COVID, and the 100% capacity of Maxis may be unattractive to them.
That too.
Yeah, may be unattractive to them at this point until COVID is even more less than an issue. Well, that's kind of an oxymoron, but more or less of an issue.
I agree with you. I agree with you. All these are little factors that cut the transportation.
While I understand your perspective, I will postulate that a person who has a tendency to have a car and drive to Port of Spain, as much as maxi taxis are probably the most important part of our transportation grid, quite frankly, and you all provide a human service in the absence of a state-efficient transportation service. Persons who have private cars are going to drive whether or not they have parking or not.
Well, yeah. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you about something about human behavior. I realize over the years I'm traveling. There's a thing about you call it what you want to do and what you can afford to do, right? Now, people who have cars have salaries, right? Driving your car costs money, right? You have to deal, and people look at those costs. For instance, I have a family member who drive from Sandy Grande to Port of Spain every day, right? Because they have to drive. That costs them $500 a week in fuel, right? With the increase in the fuel price, that gone up to $600. 6 by 5 is how much? Like $3,000 from your salary. What is the average salary for somebody maybe working a proper ordinary job in Port of Spain? About $7,000. Half of that is fuel. So what you're telling me, somebody's not going to look at that? Right? And if you're traveling a Maxi from Granny to Port of Spain, it will cost you about $800 for the month. So compare $800 to right now to $3,000. What are you going to do?
Well, let's talk about that a bit, because I like the direction you're going in, because it entered my mind earlier on. What is it in the absence of the PTSC doing what it's supposed to do? Because they don't. PTSD is a whole different discussion by itself. The maxi taxis in the country, PTSD is a waste of time. I'm going to say it plainly. The maxi taxis in the country in different routes provide the main transportation, public transportation. So what is the opportunity here for the maxi taxis to be more efficient? Not only to get from the main points, but also a large part of the reason people drive is because when you get to the hubs, for example, Citygate, you still have to find your way up Frederick Street, across the St. James. And if there's a more formalized, efficient mode in an organized way, you may be having a point in what you're talking about with the maxis really upping the ante, as it were, and filling that gap.
Paul, you are going down the road that I was going. What we have been lobbying for years, and we have a proposal into not even this government, since the last government, for fixing the transportation system from beginning to end.
When you say the last government, right? The last government is this government here.
Well, all right. Well, since with we started it on with Mr. Jack Warner, right? And we put a proposal in the association, right? The People's Partnership Government, right? Mm-hmm. And that proposal has been there for to fix the rural transportation system. Right now, we in discussion with it, but from our end, we find it's moving too slow. To fix the rural transportation system, right? And I think you all might heard me speak about inner city transportation system, making it easy for people to get from home to work. And if you put a system in place that ease the burden of transportation for people, right? That they're going to use it. Because when we talk to people, why they drive? Why you take all that traffic on the highway? And they're telling you, look, when I reach a Port of Spain, my problem is getting to where I'm going. If I go to the hospital most of the time, sometimes it's a problem. Anywhere uptown you're going, you have to walk. And if rain falling, you have a serious problem. So they drive. And I understand why they drive. So what we're saying is the government needs to fix the transportation system, public transportation system properly. And you're going to have less people driving and more people traveling. Right? We have a proposal for inner city transportation system that we put towards the government.
So you have an aspirational request of the government to fix the transportation system.
However you want to put it.
What the culture in Trinidad and Tobago is that we do not like to walk. You see, other parts of the world, people park blocks away and walk to where they're going to. Not in Trinidad and Tobago. We like to park up in front of where we're going, which is why people park on street corners, which is why they park in front of hydrants, which is why they double park, all kind of madness.
Wendell, part of the reason people like to walk or accede to walk in other jurisdictions, maybe you're in one of them now, is because one, the pavement don't go up and down, up and down. The part of most of the way is covered if it's raining. The place is clean and the aesthetics are pleasant, so you get a nice walk. And you don't have a vagrant attacking you every 2 blocks.
You don't have a lamppost in the middle of the pavement.
But the place is because the walk is a much more pleasant walk, even though you have blocks.
I won't argue that the walk might be a more pleasant walk, but those say don't have distractions. Those say don't have people sleeping on the pavement. I can send you pictures now. Those say don't have vending. I have all of that.
It's much more orderly. You know it's much more orderly.
I have to agree, though, you feel safer. But at the same time, our culture in Trinidad and Tobago is not to walk. Even in simple areas where you could simply find a parking spot and walk a couple blocks away going. Not us. We don't want to do that. And I see it all the time on Western Main Road. People pull into my driveway on the Western Main Road simply because they don't want to park a block down and walk back to where they're going. You understand? That's our culture. And until we change that, we will always have people jumping in their cars to go 2 blocks down the road. Always.
No, when the gas price going up.
But Wendell, as much as what you're saying is true, they have to have the option. Right? Most people, most people go into work in the morning, they want to really walk because they don't want, when they reach work, they don't want to be sweaty. So they'll go right up the road, and if they get a transportation for like in a city transportation, which they pay like a limit like $3 or $4, they'll use it. When they finish work and they coming home, they're a little more relaxed. They might say, it's cool, let me take a cruise down the road. Nothing wrong with that, but they must have the option.
Linus,
right?
you know how long?
Them that option.
Yeah, Linus, you're right. You know how long the Port of Spain Corporation has been lobbying PTSC for that inner city transportation? You know how long?
You're lobbying the wrong people. Right?
But
you just have and say PTSC is a dead horse a waste of time. So you lobbying a dead horse or what? To carry people? The horse on dead already.
Well, I think they're going to solve that problem soon, not so when they're introducing a tram system.
The government
that's part of the government plans. The government plans are that there'll be a tram system to take you uptown.
The city corporation
Am I wrong?
Is known for flogging dead horses.
I'm just saying what the plans are. So we can't say that the government has no plans. There are plans.
I never said the government has no plans, you know. I'm just saying everything is taking too long. The issue of parking meters. How long are we talking at?
Well, I heard it has been going on since the 1970s, but I don't know. I wasn't around.
So fix the same problem Linus just complained about, right? Because a lot of people now taking advantage of the no wrecking and parking helter-skelter. So, okay, put the parking meters. It is a level of indiscipline in Trinidad and Tobago that just upsets me sometimes.
So since we have Linus and the line, Linus, what do you expect your membership to be? Because the Manufacturers Association and the chambers are expecting, of course, knock-on price increases, cost of living, prices at the grocery, etc., because of the diesel in particular increase and, well, the other fuel increases also. Your membership intends to absorb these costs moving forward, or they're going to have meetings and assessments as time moves on?
Well, the responsible thing to do is we have meetings and have assessments as it goes on. So a lot of people painting doom and gloom for everything. And every time we have an increase in anything, people come out and they paint the worst scenario that they could paint. I guess maybe to give them the option to do certain things, right? We have a lot of increases going up on government businessmen. Sometimes when they raise their product, I ask them why they do. I say, well, look, it's exchange rate, freight going up. They're saying fuel price, right? We have people complaining and saying, well, look, the government are doing nothing. The government and this, that. The government gave a lot of people the option of going CNG, and which remember the kits the government pay for? We're forgetting all these things.
And where are you going to get the CNG if it only have about 7 CNG stations across the country? I'm being exaggerated.
Well, that
They might drive 300 miles to get to a CNG station?
All right. The thing is, if you send me to go there and I go there, then I come back and lick you now, because then you're not providing what you're supposed to provide for me. I could come back.
Exactly. So don't bring up CNG with me, because that failed between the last government and the last government and this government. I want to talk about another aspect, because you mentioned the option of people using maxi taxis more. And one of the reasons, and I would gladly, because I like to walk, jump in a maxi. You know what I'm not willing to do? Go through stinking Citygate.
You are speaking about something that we are really trying to deal with. Right now we have proposal in with the government to have the option of running Citygate. Are we complaining about Citygate?
It's not even running Citygate. It's upgrading Citygate and all the other hubs across the network in the country. It's not only use Citygate as the example because it's the biggest hub, but Citygate is that, and ironically, is the same man who doing the fuel thing now who built Citygate.
You're going down the road. I want to go down.
I want to go down the road because we're driving and we're driving.
So, no, but Linus, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't there a dollar charge placed on every maxi that entered Citygate that was supposed to go to the upkeep and upliftment of Citygate that you all took to court and won, and you all would have gotten back your money and so on? What? Give me some insight into that.
No, we didn't get back any money. One of the reasons why the maxi drivers was up in arms and that too is that the money was collected and the money was never utilized for Citygate because we were in the same problem and the same as what Paul complained about is that we were in the same problem that we are having now. The facility not run properly, so then where was our money going? We don't know. Right? So that was one of the biggest issues.
But is that something you would want to reinstigate?
If it is the court matter that we won, it wasn't about the fee, so much about the fee, and it was about who was collecting the fee, what they were doing with it.
Okay.
Right? But
why you should pay a fee to drive into a dump?
Right. So what we are saying is that if we are allowed to run the facility, we will have to collect a fee from our members for the running of the facility, and I think we will do a much better
the
job.
collection of the fee to run the facility is different to the state investing, as they did to upgrade the Red House, as they did to upgrade the Prime Minister's office, as I fully agree with the Magnificent Seven, the President's House, the Waterfront Complex, the San Fernando Waterfront, wherever they're doing upgrades. Why is the country's most important transportation hub not a priority given the hundreds of thousands of citizens who pass through there on a daily basis?
Yeah.
We are asking the same question. I don't know when.
You're clearly not asking it loud enough, Linus. As an association that have so many members using the facility, you clearly not making enough.
And you would get support from the public in advocating because it's the ordinary people who have to be subjected to that disaster of a hub, which because the original edifice is such a beautiful building, it's such a beautiful building, and then they tack on this horrible piece of whatever to it for the last how much 20 years plus.
Wendell,
that should be a mall. It should be a mall, a transportation mall.
Right now, we are doing what we think we're supposed to do by lobbying governments and making certain things and meeting, trying to get certain meetings. When we exhaust that and nothing is being done, I hope when the Maxi taxi drivers come out and do what they have to do, they ain't call me criminal.
I don't know.
Right.
What you gonna do? Block up Citygate and say we're not moving? I don't know that anybody could call you a criminal for that.
Well, they did. We don't forget. They did. When we had I ain't going through all that. I'm not a politician. For me, government.
I want to know when that happened. Remind us when it happened.
When we had a lot of cockroach running through Citygate and we wasn't getting no thing to deal with it, and we blocked up Citygate, and people say, oh, we wicked and we leave people children and people have to go to work and all sorts of things we hear. Right? Because we were wrong for doing that.
I mean, I've only known of. I know you don't want to get political, but the calling people criminals came under particular governments. That's about a most second thing.
Here we go. Well, Linus, are the other associations running the other routes in agreement with the? Do you have meetings and are they in agreement with your position, or are you have varied opinions in these issues?
Say that again. I didn't get the first part.
You are the Route 2 Maxi Taxi Association, right? Which runs the East-West Corridor. Are the other associations which govern the other routes in agreement with your position? Do you have a united front with the other associations?
Yes, we have an overarching body that we call that is the Association of Maxi Taxis. Right. All routes are members of that association. Have two representatives that create that body. Now, how we operate is that every route say about what is directly affecting the route, because you have an association to deal with that. However, when issues come up that affect Maxi Taxi on a whole, right, regardless of what route it come up on, once it's going to affect every single Maxi Taxi driver in Trinidad and Tobago, that is when the Association of Maxi Taxis step in. They deal with problems like that. That is where the decision is made.
Who heads that association, Linus?
That is Mr. Hewitt. He's the president of that association.
Okay, all right, okay. All
I
right.
never hear about
So
I
did
never hear about
would
him
they
yet.
Yeah, I think he came on for breakfast for sure already, if I remember. Not
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Linus with you.
Mr. Hewitt and,
Yeah.
Mr. Hewitt and, us, and myself have been on the show already
My
because he's
memory,
the
my
president
memory
and
Right.
vice
fails me.
president.
Yeah,
Apologies.
I remember him. But tell me something. Is it that were the other associations part of the meeting yesterday with the PDP?
No.
They were not.
When we take a decision, when we make that decision we made that not to be a part of it was made by the association of Maxi Taxis. They support the decision and the other Maxi Taxi groups. We give our reason why we think we should not be a part of it.
Yeah.
They agree.
So then how you could call it the National Transportation Alliance when the Maxi Taxis not taking part? I'm confused.
Well, it was formed. We forgot things like that. It was formed, but somehow it was. I guess maybe somehow let's call it a disguise.
Well, how you call it a National Transportation Alliance? I'm going to stop calling it that now. It's a Transportation Alliance because it's international. The Maxi Taxis are mass and not participating or haven't joined. It can't be a National Transportation Alliance. And who is the head of that? I know who it was initiated by, but who is the head?
I asked that question the first day when I heard it announced because we were not in the meeting, as I said, when that part of it took place, because when the meeting started Monday, we said what we had to say and we left.
Mm-hmm.
We wasn't there for the press conference and all these different things that they had. When that was announced, they started up a chat group, and that was my question, and I'm still waiting for an answer.
Or they can't tell you who the head is? Or the interim head?
No, I asked that question on Tuesday morning when I saw
maybe
this.
the head was there and they don't want to identify.
And I asked, and I still waited on an answer. I never got an answer up to now.
Well,
The person who heads it, they're driving a BMW or a Maxi Taxi?
I wouldn't know. I don't know.
They can drive both.
Yeah, that is why I asked.
Depending on the route they run, they can drive both.
The route they're running, not route.
Wow.
Running route.
I'm not following. No, I am not. I try to lead the association the best way I think possible, and being a bandwagon, this is not one of my thing. I don't jump on bandwagon.
Are you suggesting the association is a bandwagon?
No. I'm saying I'm not a bandwagon.
I'm joking.
I don't jump on bandwagon just like that without and pick my association and things that I'm not sure about and not getting all the facts about.
No, Linus, I know that in previous conversations with you, you would have raised issues concerning meeting with Minister Rohan Sinanan and so on. Are you hearing me? Hello? Linus?
You see the spyware kicking.
Oh boy. I was going to ask him. We lost him, see?
I'm not sure. Linus is there before I dial back.
He must be passing through that area that did call drops. By Rukare. Or the Royal Jail in Port of Spain. I think he said he was in Port of Spain. All right. So it appears that we lost Linus. But I was going to ask him about the relationship between his association and Minister Rohan Sinanan, because I know
recording stopped.
In the beginning. I wanted to know if there was any improvement, because I haven't heard him refer to Minister Sinanan in quite a while. All right. So I guess, can we take some calls?
Wendell, happy 420.
Happy 420. What is that?
All right, Linus is back.
Yeah.
Recording in progress.
Wendell?
Oh, 2034.
Linus is back, Wendell. Go ahead and ask a question.
Linus.
Yes, sir.
Hello?
I'm here.
Linus, are you hearing me?
Yeah.
Right. I know that in past interviews you would have had issues that you raised concerning meeting with Minister Rohan Sinanan and so on. How was that? Has that relationship improved?
In the sense of what we try to keep a cordial relationship with the minister, yes, but There are a lot of issues that we have that think that we need to get dealt with in a very speedy manner, and it's not being dealt with in that manner. Right?
Linus, tell me
Obviously,
something.
we have some issues. We have some issues with the minister on those things.
Linus, tell me something. The issue of maxi taxis on the PBR, stopping any and everywhere, especially on crosswalks and so on. Why can't that be fixed?
Wendell,
Linus,
I'm going to say this again. The issue of law enforcement falls in whose hands?
the police.
Okay, Wendell. So if you have a problem on the road, and the people who are charged with the responsibility of dealing with it, not dealing with it, right? I think you have to ask them that question.
And that's fine. But if we took that view, isn't there an issue of personal responsibility also on one, the drivers and the association to regulate its drivers in a meaningful way, because your drivers are responsible in the association? You just said you are very careful with how you run the association.
Yes, you can talk. Yes, we can talk, but we don't have the power to discipline anybody in that way. We don't have that power. We can't take anybody driver's permit. We can't give anybody any tickets. And we are dealing with Trinidadians who, there's a saying that it have some people, the only way you can make an impression on them is with a hammer.
Right? Linus, in other words, what you're saying is that the drivers are doing their own thing and you can't do anything.
They're lawless.
Drivers.
They are lawless.
Drivers.
Some of the
drivers. I will not sit here and let you call all my drivers lawless, because we have lawless citizens in Trinidad and Tobago.
No. I'm not talking about that, Linus. I'm talking about the drivers. I'm not saying all drivers are lawless, but some are lawless.
I defend my drivers. We know we have lawless drivers. This is why some of them get tickets and all kind of things, right? So, any institution and anything that you have in Trinidad, you have lawless people in it. We have lawless people in the police service who charge with upholding the law, and we know that. So we know I am not breaking and say all my drivers do the correct thing. I don't have, and the association is not the one responsible for giving them a permit and tell them you could drive a maxi. And we're not charged with the responsibility of taking anybody's permit and say you cannot drive a maxi. Right? There's an institution for that, and it's not the association. Right? So we don't have the saying who drive maxi and who don't drive.
But just before we end, can we discuss, at one time, I think under then Minister of Education, Anthony Garcia, there was an arrangement with the association or associations to transport school children paid for by the state in a subsidized manner. Is that arrangement something you're looking at again?
Well, I think that I have a problem with that with the arrangement. You know, we have drivers who work for the last 2 years transporting children before school closes and they get paid.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
Right, and they start back with school transportation system, and they hire a new set of drivers, and they pay the old set yet. Right. So I have a serious problem with how that is operated, and it's operated under PTSD. There goes the problem. There goes our problem.
No surprise there.
Right? Problem number one, it's operated under PTSD. Right? They blame the drivers for all sorts of things when the drivers wasn't the problem. Drivers not getting paid for 3-4 months. Some of them loan running in arrears in the bank calling them. That one driver told me that he went to change the maxi and the bank asked him, he said, which bank buying that fare? Not this one. Because he paid. He was doing for 5 years and every month he was late.
As you talk about maxi taxis, Linus, on average, how many CNG run maxi taxis do we have on the road now?
If we have 100, we have plenty. No,
sorry.
We had started a company bringing CNG vehicle. We sold about 45, 48. Right? Privately, the problem with the CNG, NGC did an okay job with trying to get people to go CNG. On our end, I think the taxis are talking to a taxi driver up on my end, and he say 80% of the drivers are CNG. Right?
Okay.
So, but with the Maxis, the problem was that we didn't get a correct fit with the diesel. It wasn't working properly. That was our problem. The conversion with the CNG and the diesel was not working at all. And I think on that end it failed. If we have to go, what we have to do, it will be a little more expensive. We will have to take out the diesel engine and fit a gas engine and then fit the CNG.
That will Maxi.
Process, that will be much more expensive. Because I think especially those big Maxis could run you anyway to close to maybe close to $100,000. Right?
Yeah.
So the cars now, they just fit the kit, which is cost, I think was around between $12,000 and $14,000. Right? So a lot of the cars and the 7-seaters and them guys and them, they run in CNG. But it was a little more difficult for us.
And my last question is on security. What is the security like now on Maxi taxis? I know that at one point in time you were championing the cameras, the CCTV cameras and so on the Maxis. How has that project been going?
Well, we have the drivers, and then this is what I tell you. Sometimes to getting results can be very slow. We have the drivers we went ahead and put in the cameras and what have you in the vehicle to safeguard themselves, because at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is get the legislation in place to have it legally installed, and that is what we're not getting. Proper regulation to have some of these things in place. Right? You have something that will help us, and in trying to get the regulation in place is an uphill battle. Right? Look, for instance, the speed limit. Right? We drive at 65 miles an hour. Right? On the highway, the Southmen, the men that work Maloney, have a serious problem. By the time you're going fifth gear, you're over 65.
That's kilometers. Right?
No, there are kilometers. Right. So when the speed limit, this thing come in place and they started to have speed traps and things, you know that the Frontiers and some of the CRV that fall in that bracket, 65 bracket, look how fast they put them in the bracket with the cars so that they could drive 65, because certain people own those vehicles. Right? Because check what most of the ministers and all of them drive. They would have to drive 65 just like us. But click our finger, in no time, the Frontiers and CRV and all these vehicles was shifted from in the heavy goods.
Are you suggesting the state is making law to suit themselves?
The people who work there, who are responsible for doing certain things, when it affects them, I'm not hiding to say it. They shift their vehicles so quickly and put it into the category of cars so they could drive at 100. And we have to jump through hoops trying to even get our own up to 80.
Remember, you are transporting people en masse.
Yes, we are transporting people, but remember too, these speed limits were put how much donkey years ago when you used to have to pump your brakes to stop. Now we have the type of braking system we have on vehicles now. Is 80 kilometers is not a problem.
You like Wendell then? You have a superior braking system.
Yeah, we have trucks that stop. The braking system on a truck is way better than a car.
Wendell, yeah, truck boy.
They stop and show.
Linus, we out of time before I get in trouble this morning.
Yeah, you'll get in trouble. Linus, I want to thank you so much for being on the Power Breakfast Show this morning. Appreciate it.
I call you truck boy, Wendell.
Drive safely.
Linus Paul lasted almost an hour. He failed at the last hurdle.
At least I could last an hour. Let's just say that. Have a good day, Linus.
All right. Thank you, Linus.
Recording stopped.
Yes, all the best to you, Linus. Thank you so much. All right. President of the Route 2 Maxi Taxi Association. Let's get into our news brief, all powered by Champlain Auto Services.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.